we'll show you how to teach a lot of things. This is not the Master Gardener program, but this is the shortcut program on how the everyday person can grow.
Basically what we're doing is making a terrarium.
You might want to come down here, everybody, so you can hear better. Come down here. If you all get down, like just get a little bit closer down here. We'll just gather around Art.
Okay, here's how you do this. You need a good sharp blade or a razor blade, single edge, so that you don't hurt yourself. You want to make a slit in the top of the bottle, right about here. Just going in. I'm assuming everybody's right-handed. If you're left-handed, you would do it just the opposite of what I'm doing, okay? So I'm just making a little slit, just enough to get my scissors in there. And now I'm going to cut the bottle. Take off the label. We have two ready to go. So here's how you do this. This is rooting hormone, diluted. 1 part rooting hormone with 2 parts white sand. Okay? You don't have to go out and buy white sand. You can just go to any anthill in your yard and take the stuff around the anthill, that white sand. There's nothing in it. The ants have emptied everything out of that pile of sand. So you can be sure to use it, and you're just going to get pure white sand. Pure white sand, 2 parts, 1 part rooting hormone. You can get rooting hormone in any place. Lowe's, Home Depot, the garden shop, any garden center that sells gardening stuff will have root tone. It's for helping roots, cuttings grow, not seeds, just cuttings. So that's what this is, mixed with sand. Take the cutting. Preferably you want to use a dry cutting. If you don't use a dry cutting, this mixture is going to stick to it like glue. It'll look almost like flour and water together, not quite mixed with too much water. So you want to be very, very careful to use dry stuff. Cut it off at a node. A node, if you don't know, is where pieces intersect. There's a little thing there called a node. Right? That's your plant cut below that node. Dip it in your root tone. Shake off the excess. Stick it in dirt. Pour a tad of water in there. We got our water. Is that empty? Is that used? Thank you. A little bit of water. That's all we need, not much. And you put your dome on top. Now, if you're doing this indoors, if you're going to be doing this plant indoors, it wants to be in light but no sun. Any sun on this plant underneath this terrarium is going to die in an hour. So you don't want to put it in the sun. Light, all the light you want, no sun. Okay? This is basically ready to go now. However, one of the things that happens is the 4.5 inch pots that they make today are cheaper than the ones that they used to make. They really are. There's a big difference. So, to prevent this from falling off, I tape mine. So you can walk around with this in your hand and it won't come off. Okay? When you're done, masking tape will wear off. This is removable, whatever they call it, masking tape. It's done for that purpose. That's why I use it. This is basically a plant that grown normally. This is about 2 weeks old. Versus these, which caught same day, about 2 weeks old. These caught light, sun, not light, but sun. So you can see what happened.
So they can go anywhere in your house.
Anyway.
Well, as long as they get
it's not
light,
right directly in the sun.
light, but no sun.
Okay.
You can see what the sun is doing. It's just destroying your plant. So as long as you put them in light, but no sun, you get a good result. And at about, once you start to see some new growth coming up, you know the plant is taken, that there's roots growing underneath. Okay? Once you take this off, you got to go back to your normal watering routine. Every couple of days, depending upon the area that you live in or where you're growing the plant in, you water it.
So that's what I mean, so how you put water in it?
You don't. No, you leave it alone. You're not watering this at all. Once you water it down, like I did with that one.
Doesn't need any water. That's it.
Okay. Once you water it like that, it's going to be fine. Okay, but you just want to make sure you have a nice tight fit. This is not really a good fit. Because like I said, they're making stuff cheaper today. You know, if they can cut off a 1/16 of an inch, you know, 100 pots later, they got an extra pot.
So you can't use potting soil.
Sure you can. This is leftover stuff from you guys
So you
dumping
can't
all
use potting soil in that rooting.
Absolutely. Potting
Okay.
soil, in fact, there's some, you can see some vermiculite in here if you look
okay.
through it. This is all the junk that is in those pots.
Okay, so you
guys
just
don't-
read. Okay.
Any questions on what I just did? Does everybody understand the technique and the principle?
So no, the point is to let it get root and then replant it into a bigger pot. So, okay.
Or a garden.
A garden.
If you're doing this with
Yes,
vegetables,
yes.
And you can grow all plants like that?
I'm going to say about 90%. There are some plants that you don't have to do this with. For example, like a sansevieria, not a big deal. Any succulent, you cut a plant and it's got white stuff coming out of it, that's succulent. Those are much easier to do than this. Any square stem plant.
It's a square stem.
It's a plant that has a square stem. Instead of being round, it's square. It's one of those things people don't pay attention to. But there are regular plants and there are square.
What type of plant that be?
A tomato plant.
Tomato plant. Break them off and stick them in the soil and they'll just grow.
No, let them dry.
Let them dry.
Let that
Okay.
cut area dry.
Okay.
It's a succulent, it'll be bleeding for 2 or 3 days. Once it's dry, then you can plant it. You don't have to do anything. Just stick it in the dirt, put the soil around it.
How long do you keep it?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
How long do you keep it in there?
Until it starts growing. Once it starts, you start to see any growth on it at all. Any new growth coming from any part of that plant, it's taken. It's working. It's other plants where you don't see any growth yet are not ready. You only want to take these covers off when there's growth. If there's no growth, and you can tell the new growth, different color. It's always the bright green versus the dark green and stuff like that. It's usually going to come out of the top or one of the sides.
Just take the whole pot and just that whole dirt section there.
Yeah,
just-
and for the most part, it's going to be relatively solid from being in there all this time. So it's you can easily handle it. Hold it, put your hands over this. Put your hands over the stem at the base. Turn it upside down. Now you got it upside down with dirt. Put it in that hole that you made for it.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Are you tweeting?
Forget about my duty.
What you doing? I don't know.
You have a razor blade or something.
I think emphasize one part.
It has to be even.
No.
Just wrap around.
You see the way this curves up?
Yeah.
It's curving up at the neck. It starts down here.
So don't cut to this.
You don't want to cut through that. You want to save this curved part.
So that it goes
This-
in better.
Makes that
Fits in. It fits in.
So I messed this up.
I didn't, yes. I didn't explain that thorough enough.
Okay.
What happens when you push this top down on here, because this curve is here, it's going to push the dirt to the side as it goes down
Yeah.
because it's at an angle. So it's pushing dirt away. See the way the dirt came up a little bit that time?
So you can start your tomato plants like this?
Sure.
Any plant.
Any plant?
You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this to succulents. If a plant
Exactly.
bleeds white latex,
Yeah.
it's a succulent.
I said I'm going to need practice
There you
with
go.
this.
Oh, well, you can.
You're a little bit more.
Like the right hand.
Oh, okay. Okay, I feel it.
See the curve? It's kind of, you know what we're talking about.
You cutting? Okay, wait for the scissors.
Anybody have
I know I've seen little kids go in there. I could do the little kid one.
If you go too deep like she did on this one, this is way too long. You want to be about an inch from the last growth. Everybody got that? About an inch from the last growth. This is way too long.
Okay.
And
Way down.
razor blade is kind of slashed to the side.
That's too much. This here?
That's good.
That's good?
Okay, is this good?
Too much.
See, I told him there's precision to this.
Oh, so I have to cut rooting.
Does it matter if it's ragged? Okay. So I can stick this in here.
You know what you're doing it, just where the label is.
Oh, shake it around.
Hey, Bonnie.
Oh, right. But. Okay. Now, down she goes.
Oh, that's no.
That was screw scissors though, unfortunately.
Okay. I think I got it.
You got it?
Okay.
Got Miss Veronica. Okay, here's that.
Okay.
Let's get some water in there.
Oh, that's right, water. Oh, could you pass me my water?
Please. Okay,
Okay.
I will take this here. He said to break it
That
at
should be enough.
1 inch below the last node.
1 inch above the last.
Below.
Right here. But no, I break this whole thing off.
Here, the scissors.
1, 2.
Okay, so.
Right here.
You don't want to have too much of that plant because you're going to have these leaves.
All over the place. Okay, so do I
That's
snip?
something else.
So do I snip this off here? Is it best to do it here?
I would
do it
cutting.
here.
I would be cutting here. If this is the part, I would consider it a node.
Oh, okay.
You don't need that much. The more plant you have, the more difficult you can make it.
So here.
So cut some more of this, or I don't have to? Now is this okay? I put some water in it. Is that too? Should I push it down more, or is it okay? That's good. Okay. Okay. Okay.
So that's about 2 inches now. You need to.
Here's one
Take
thing
it
I
off.
forgot to mention.
So by here.
You
A
don't
little
want
more.
these leaves. Touch. It should. Let's touch it. Oh, no, that came out.
Okay.
That looks pretty good.
How is this?
I didn't bring it up right.
Da-da!
And that's it. Now again,
Don't let it touch the plant.
well,
Oh, I cut it too.
No. they can be handled. They're not going to fall apart on you.
Yes, that's.
And when you're ready,
Can you do herbs the same way?
Sure.
Can you do the herbs the same way?